Wouldn't have to go anywhere because this is the Talk Beat Jones. All right, this is the Talk Beat Jones, and I am Billy Jones, and I want to thank you for being here. It's called the Billy Jones-a-Size Jones. That's because we're talking about our fitness program, but right now we're going to get back into that Talk Beat Jones, and it's so great to have you here with us today. And family, remember the Talk Beat Jones, we're on the air every Wednesday from 10 to 11 a.m., and you can, of course, pick us up on a Sunday. That is 105.2 at 4 o'clock, okay? So, don't forget, on demand. We're on demand, YouTube, TV 33, on demand, and you simply look at the picture or the date, which will be a Wednesday, and you're able to put that in, and you'll be able to watch that particular show. Go through, I got about 200 and some odd shows, 260 to 80 shows, but you go by the latest dates to see this show. By the way, too, folks who want to know, how can I watch the programs on my telephone, my cell phone? Well, here's how it's done. How to get WHPR via cell phone. You go to the App Store or, get your pen and paper and get ready to write this information down right here early. Let me do it again. How to get the WHPR via cell phone. Go to the App Store or Google Apps on your phone. 2, you search for the WHPR TV now. Once you found it, you download it to your phone. Then you want to choose the live stream. Then you'll see 3 selections and you want to choose WHPR TV. 5, you press the play button or arrow. There you have WHPR TV Live. Okay? And family, I want you to get prepared. Today, on this particular show, all the folks who served in the military, men, women, I want you to know that this is for you. Let me see if I have my guests ready. Sir, are you ready? There we go. Sir, are you ready?
Yes, I am.
Okay, now, I've identified the fact that this show is a show that is going to give out some wonderful, great information to the veterans and their families. So, to start off our program today, I'd like for you to introduce yourself and give them what they need to know in terms of preparation to hear your interview, please.
Yes, my name is Jesse Banks. I'm an Air Force veteran. I served from 1966 to 1970.
Are you on a cell phone? I mean, are you on your speakerphone?
Yeah, I'm off the speaker now. I hear the feedback.
Okay, there we go. So let's start over again. Start out with your name, etc.
Sure. My name is Jesse Banks. I'm a United States Air Force veteran. I served from 1966 to 1970.
Oh, and just as a little sidebar, you're also a Detroit police person for how long?
Yeah, 35 years.
35 years, okay. So what type of information would we have coming in that's going to be helpful to our people throughout the United States and et cetera, actually anywhere in the world if they're a veteran, wherever they move to? Okay, so why don't you kind of take over and help us to understand why this program today is going to be beneficial for our veterans and their family.
First of all, I just wanted to come on board, Billy, so to let the folks know that there's going to be a ending date for filing claims where you can get retroactive money back to a certain date. So I'll explain shortly.
Okay, Mr. Banks, before you start, this is something that they need to write this information down for later use. Is that correct?
Absolutely.
Okay, so we want everyone to get your pen, your paper, or if you want us people who can type it and as we go, do that, but do not just sit back and listen. This is great information. This is information that you must have to share with your family who have been veterans, who are veterans. Go right ahead, Mr. Jesse Banks.
Sure. This act, and you may have heard about it, it's called the PAC Act, which means the promise to address comprehensive toxics. And what that means, those folks who were in Afghanistan, Iraq, Vietnam, they may have been subjects to such things as Agent Orange and burn pit.
I'm sorry. You said Agent Orange, and what was that last part?
Burn pits.
Oh, burn pits. Okay.
Essentially what happens with burn pits, they have to dispose of waste, human waste and different things. And what the manner in which it was done, they used chemicals and then set it on fire and burned it.
Okay.
And then the smoke and fumes that came up, as you inhaled it, and it creates a number of illnesses.
Okay. And what was that classified as?
In terms of, it could be a number of illnesses. What I would suggest is if they Google diseases and illnesses associated with burn pits.
For our purposes, so people kind of get a visual, something that was publicized in the media quite often was the Agent Orange factor.
Yes.
Explain that.
Thank goodness for this act.
Okay.
The legislature and the president had a chance to sign into law August the 10th of 2022, which included the Agent Orange bet. I have been denied about 5 or 6 times. I applied in 2010 and denied. However, this new act allowed and to include Agent Orange and people that served not only in Vietnam but Thailand, which I served.
Mm-hmm.
Agent Orange was used to spray the jungle to kill the foliage, so that we can see any enemy that may close by.
Yes. Can I stop you one moment here so that we can take a quick note for those who are writing the situation down to those who may not have heard. If you have been a veteran or your family members have been trying to get benefits for your veteran, if you have been denied, would you tell them how many times that you have been denied, Mr. Jesse Banks, please?
5 times for illnesses related to Agent Orange since 2010.
Okay, so you have been denied 5 times. You're saying that now there's something that will allow this to pass so that you can be approved?
Absolutely.
Explain how that works so that we can give people hope and give them some inspiration to know, get busy, get your benefits. Please, go right ahead, sir.
Sure. I suggest that veterans or anybody who has veteran members just in their family, that they file, they intent to file. That's what it's called, a DA form. You got to file before August the 9th of this year.
Mm-hmm.
In order to get retroactive back pay, which will go back to August the 10th of 2022. I filed, and if you're denied, you can refile, and I'm pleased to tell you that I was approved just recently as a result of the packet.
So are you saying to us that based upon the fact that you applied 5 different times and was not approved, that under the new situation that's going on now, that you actually now have been approved?
Yes, it only took 5 months.
Okay, but now tell us again, how did you get approved, and what does you getting approved, what benefits will you receive?
Okay, well, I had 4 specific illnesses that were a part of the Agent Orange in terms of diseases or illnesses that associated with Agent Orange.
Okay.
And I'll just give you a quick. It was ischemic heart. It was diabetes. It was neuropathy and hypertension.
Okay.
And I filed March the 20th, and it went through a process, and you have what you later call a comp and pen, which the VA, Veterans Affairs, will send you to a contractor or to the hospital, and they review you. They make an assessment, send it back to the VA Affairs.
Okay.
They review it, and then they'll make a determination.
Did anything change from the 4 or 5 filings that you did before as compared to what you filed now, except that you were approved?
Nothing's changed. Bottom line now, with the act, they call now presumptive, because I was there. That's the way it was always in Vietnam. Those they consider boots on the ground.
Yes.
They were approved, but people like where I was in Thailand, I flew our missions out in Thailand.
Okay.
We were air crewed. Therefore, we flew over Vietnam, but we never landed, and we weren't qualified at that time. That's presumptive.
So you should not sit back and say, well, I didn't have this and I didn't have that and this didn't happen. You saying file and let them determine if you can be approved or disapproved at this point. Don't eliminate yourself. Is that what you're telling us?
Please don't. They got a new Secretary of Veterans Affairs. His name is Dennis McDonald.
Okay.
This man is phenomenal.
Okay.
He's trying to right the wrong that existed for veterans care.
Okay.
Like at the VA hospital in Detroit. In fact, I used to go to the VA in Detroit, but I wasn't pleased with the service I was receiving. So I would go to Ann Arbor instead.
Okay.
And apparently, this sort of bad information got out. And Dennis McDonald made a personal visit to Detroit. And during his time, he actually fired the director at the VA business.
He fired him?
He fired her.
Oh, fired her.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm assuming for non-performance or not, pleasing the veterans' needs.
So with all of the veterans making their complaints, et cetera, about the services, et cetera, it actually turned out that they were correct, and he's there, he's correcting this, and he's moving forward and trying to make sure that our servicemen that serve this country, even though the administration had been wrong in denying them all of these years, in 2023, we said a change has come through this new secretary person, and now veterans can now, and their families, can now file to get these benefits. And would you tell us some of the potential benefits of the benefits, please?
Well, like in my case, I got different decision ratings for each of the disease that I have. And it totaled up to 110% increase over my already 93%.
Wow. Okay.
So I'm at 200. You don't necessarily get paid at 200, but it does increase your benefits immensely.
Okay. So if they're receiving benefits, if they refile, the potential for them to get greater benefits is there. Is that what you're telling us also?
Absolutely.
Okay. So don't be satisfied with what you're getting.
No, and that's the thing. Veterans get complacent, and they'll say such thing as, well, they don't need to be doing it because they're going to deny me. But guess what? When you allow yourself to be taken out of the equation, somebody else picks up on the other end.
Yes. Yes. So, this is a great thing because, when people get depressed and you done beat them down, you deny them, then finally throw up their hands. They don't believe that they deserve it. They don't believe that they can get it. So they finally get frustrated and stop. That means the money that they've got in the pot stays large, and they don't have as many folks as they should applying for these benefits, but we're saying to our people, and our people at this point is anyone who served in the service can receive these particular, under what type of qualifications of their service duties, Mr. Jesse Banks, who is
If
served?
they're subjected to burn pit or Agent Orange or any other diseases, but what they have to do, though, Billy, is Google illnesses and disease associated with burn pits and Agent Orange. It's a litany. And if you fall into any of those categories, you can qualify.
And also, you said something about if you served in certain areas, you could qualify?
Absolutely. So it's what they call is presumptive. Presumptive means that they don't even challenge you.
Okay.
If you show that you served in that area and have any of those illnesses, you will be awarded.
And could you give us like a step-by-step, like said, this financial benefits, or is this insurance benefits, or is this material benefits, or is this something that is generational wealth type of benefits for the families? Can you kind of break that down just a little bit, please?
Sure. It's a benefit if you get to 100%, or even if you get to 60% and can't work. They have what they call unemployability. And if you get qualified for unemployability, you get paid at 100% rate.
Okay.
And right now, the current 100% rate is $3,823.89 a month, tax free. Plus, you get a full military ID that qualifies you for discounts on base services, and I mean it's a good deal.
So, if they have not qualified in the past, this is what you're saying is that they potentially can qualify and receive this type of situation set up now.
They could have done it all along, but now it's easier.
Okay.
And you got to take the advantage because in August the 9th of this year, you can't get back pay back to next year.
Okay.
But the program still stays in place, but you just don't get that back pay.
So to emphasize that on August the 10th, is that what you're saying?
August the 9th.
August the 9th, all
They
persons
got to file a intent to file. That gets you in the ballpark.
and that way you get back pay.
Correct.
If you file after the 9th, you don't
And
get the back
you only
pay,
get from
but
the time that you file up to the new date, which will be August the 10th of this year.
but you will qualify for the potential approval under the new standards. Is that correct?
Absolutely.
Okay. Okay. Mr. Jesse Banks, and again, we want to salute you for serving the Detroit community for over 35 years as a police personnel. What type of advice would you give to the veterans as a family? We ask you to like this program, to share this program, as you can hear and see. This is to involve getting you motivated to help your family member, male or female, to get what is due to them that the United States owed them.
Exactly.
So, Mr.
I'm glad you said old, because they do.
Yes.
They stole our earth, our youth, I guess, because most countries only the youth fight their wars.
Yes.
You know,
Mhm.
and in my case, I was 17, and the benefits I earned, nobody's giving me nothing, and so you have to fight for it.
And you've had health issues from this.
Oh yeah, those things I just mentioned.
Yes, yes. So I'm saying, and there, we're mentioning this family because think about your family member who has suffered and was not able to get some relief. All of these years, they've suffered and have not been able to get the relief that the United States of America owed them. They didn't take care of their soldiers, their veterans. They're not taking care of them. We've heard veterans speak about the care or the lack of care. Now we know that they were not lying.
Nope.
But with this person that Mr. Jesse Banks is speaking, is in charge now. There is a new sheriff in town that's caring about the veterans. That's why we're here today, family. Pass this video, this show on to other folks to listen. Take this information, get on the phone, cell phone, however, computer. Let folks know. Do not let them keep what's rightfully yours. And that is to take care of your health. That's what we're talking about. And Mr. Banks, can you tell us how, if they get these benefits, how it may affect their children or their grandchildren?
Oh, yeah. Like for me, Agent Orange, my kids now and grandkids and their grandkids and their kids can qualify for a veterans benefit based on my condition today.
Wow.
And another thing I want to mention, even deceased veterans, if the family files and they have documentation that this person may have passed from one of the diseases in the burn pit or either Agent Orange, they can qualify for monthly. The children can qualify for monthly. It's so much, but you have to do the research.
So if my mother or dad passed and they were they were veterans, so you're saying that even though they've been deceased for X amount of years, I can still, under this new situation, go and file under their benefits and potentially get approved?
Exactly. So
Wow.
again, it's one of those situations where you have to have documentation now. Because after a person is deceased, I'm not sure what happens. I don't think the file dies with them, but that's something you have to look into.
Well, I mean, the death certificate will show you what the person died from, correct? Somewhat.
Correct.
Mm-hmm. And of course, their health file would show what was happening to them. They would just have to go to, I guess, the medical situation and get a copy.
Yeah. Billy, I would also mention to your audience that if there's a vet, and they go for medical treatment at the VA hospital or their private outside doctor, keep copies of whatever their reports are. Because that's essential, because sometimes the VA is not the best record keeper.
Okay. So
and that's what I did, and that helped me tremendously.
So you're instructing the audience, the family members, the person that's listening to, that's going to help their family members, that everything they do to make sure they make copies of and put it into a file that they definitely know where it is at all times.
Exactly.
Okay. Okay. Mr. Jesse Banks, is there other information that you would like to say today? Because I'm saying I would love to have you back to when you're not able to come to the studio, to be able to call like you're doing now and update, because the veterans are our special people. And as I stated,
I appreciate that.
Yes.
And we are.
Yes. And as I said to you, my Vietnam veterans, I don't be joking around. They're my heroes. They're my heroes, and I watched the way America slapped them, beat them, kicked them, didn't give them what they wanted. So family, if you got a veteran that you saw go through suffering, mental problems, that veteran had a reason. And if they're still here, help them be paid. Help them get what's owed to them. Because now you know that fund, that budget, that situation is now in place for you and your family member. Somewhat correct, Mr. Jesse Banks?
Yes, and I want to reemphasize, August the 9th of this year, even if you don't do nothing else but file a intent to file, do that, and then you're in the ballpark.
Okay.
You're in the game.
All right. Now, Mr. Jesse Banks, would you give us, is there any number that people should call, or should they just wait to hear from you again, or just make sure they follow this information that you've given them today? We're going to go to a commercial break, but I wanted you to say anything that you have before you go.
No, again, file. You can go online and find. That's why I suggest that you file online.
Okay. So,
Intent to file.
okay. So, Ms. Jesse Banks, do you think that you may be able to come back and help us and on the telephone at least at times and give us this update?
Absolutely.
Hey, you're my man. I appreciate you, and the family should again respect all this great information. And there's going to be others that's going to be talking about veterans on the Talk Beat Jones with Mr. Jesse Banks. Thank you, Mr. Jesse Banks. We appreciate you so very, very much, and we'll talk soon. Okay, sir?
My pleasure.
My pleasure. Tell all the guys I said hello, and again, next Thursday, hope to be able to be a part and see exactly what's happening from the inside with the vets. Okay.
Looking forward to it.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Have a good day, though.
Have a blessed day. Bye now. And as we go to the commercial break, I want to see if this person has been. Caller, are you there? Caller, are you there?
Yes.
Okay, hold on. I'm bringing you in after the commercial break, okay?
All right.
Thank you. Family, this is Talk Beat Jones. Remember, we're here every Wednesday from 10 to 11, on Sunday on 105.2 from 4 to 5. And, of course, we'll be back after these commercial announcements. And don't forget about that on demand, YouTube, TV33 on demand. See you soon. You wouldn't have to go anywhere because this is the Talk Beat Jones.
Justice for Mario Willis. Truth. Facts. Evidence. Matter. Log into justiceformariowillis.com. Read for yourself.
We, the people of Detroit, is dedicated to community coalition building and to the provision of resources that inform, train, and mobilize the citizens of Detroit and beyond to improve their quality of life. As a community-based grassroots organization, we, the people of Detroit, aim to inform, educate, and empower Detroit residents on imperative issues surrounding civil rights, land, water, education, and the democratic process. For more information, call 844-42-WATER, 844-42-WATER, or email wethepeopleofdetroit.com.
To put your podcast on iHeartRadio? Yes, your podcast on iHeartRadio. What about Alexa, Roku, Fire Stick, Apple TV, Android, or iPhone? Plus live TV streaming. Get your podcast seen and heard all over the world. Call 313-868-6612. Pre-recorded shows are accepted to be archived. This is a WHPR distribution platform. Download the app from the App Store. Go to WHPRTV.com. Channels available for lease 24/7 on Roku, Fire Stick, or Apple TV. Coming soon, subscription and pay-per-view.
Also,
Block time is available. Get yours. Call 313-868-6612. That's 313-868-6612. Executive producer R.J. Watkins. Program director Henry Tyler. 107.5 FM WGPR HD2. RadioWeCanSee.com.
Have to go anywhere because this is the Talk Beat Jones. Oh man, I feel like moving. I feel like doing a little Jones exercise. In about 4 or 5 more weeks, family, we're going to start that Jones exercise. We're going to get you ready to feel good, look good. And that's hips tone, tummy tone, body tone, mind relaxed. That emphasis on loving your body, loving yourself, that's going to be that Jones exercise thing by Zoom. It's coming to you soon. I heard the program with everybody here at the studio talking about the gym experience. We've all had our gym experience. Well, at the Jones exercise, we didn't use equipment. Our equipment was our body. And yes, we sweat. But guess what? They went home and took a nice hot bath. And they felt good. Let's see what we have on the line once a quick. And by the way, let me do this. Get your pen and paper ready so you understand real quickly how to get that WHPR via cell phone. You want to go to the App Store or Google Apps on your phone. You want to search for WHPR TV Now. Once you've found it, you want to download to your phone. Then you choose live streams. Then you'll see 3 selections. You want to choose WHPR TV. You want to press the play button or the arrow. There you have WHPR TV Live. The Talk Beat Jones, we're on every Wednesday from 10 to 11 a.m. We're on 15.2 on on Sundays from 4 to 5. You can do the YouTube TV33 on demand and watch and pull up the Talk Beat Jones. Caller, would you please identify yourself, please? Hello? Did I bring you on?
Hello?
There you go. Would you please identify yourself, please?
My name is Leo Bazile.
And Mr. Brazil, you were able to hear part of the conversation that we were holding with Mr. Jesse Banks?
Yes, sir.
Before we get into your particular, as a 2-time council person, 30-some year as a lawyer, what was your thoughts in terms of what you were hearing?
I thought it was one of the most informative shows that you've had. And as a veteran myself, I identify with everything the brother said.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd like to, tie that in to my biggest concern right now is the issue of reparations. Because that's what he was talking about. The United States government repairing the damage that they were responsible for. And the Agent Orange thing was something that was talked about many years ago. But what wasn't talked about is because he wasn't on the ground, he wasn't exposed to Agent Orange, right?
Yes.
Or to those burn pits or whatever.
Yes.
But they were having officers flying from Philippines, flying to Vietnam. Their planes then would touch down on the ground, roll through the runway, and then take off and go back to the Philippines. So once they touched down on the ground, they were eligible for being in the Vietnam zone.
Got it.
And therefore got all kinds of benefits that guys like the gentleman that you were talking to,
Mr. Jesse Banks,
had to fight for.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Please go ahead.
Well, that's it. I mean, if he's exposing a lot of things. The guard has changed in Washington. Somebody's trying to be fair. The Secretary of whatever, Army or whatever it is is in there.
Yes.
It's now making it possible for all of those dependents to now go after their grandfather's benefits that they should have been given in the beginning.
And when you hear that the person that is now in charge came in and fired, he didn't reassign, he fired the people that was running the VA. What is your thoughts about that?
He was a moral man. There's a thing called morality, which deals with right and wrong. He saw wrong, and the people that was perpetuating the wrong, he got rid of them.
Yes, yes. So the idea, Mr. Leo Bazile of Oakland, California, is that this is something that folks, our veterans from all around the world, should have this information to help them. Whether and that's the idea, and that's the beauty of what WHPR TV 33 is doing
Absolutely.
with this program and what we're able to do by going on demand, because people are able to get this information. No, I didn't see it, I didn't hear it. Well, listen, you can go to the Talk B. Jones show and such, pull it up. You get everything for yourself. You hear everything. And that's the beauty of what is going on in this station. And I'm just so happy that you are part of the Talk B. Jones. You've been a part of Talk B. Jones for many years now. And for you to come in and reiterate the information that you received in Oakland, California from Detroit. So we know we're hitting all of the places, and we want this information passed. But now, you said you could tie that into what we are talking about as black folks, other folks in other cities and states that are trying to figure out how to get this going or how to get this moving. How would you put that into your reparation situation? You are a person that's working with reparations. Could you explain that, please?
Well,
Mr. Leo Bazile,
as an
Oakland,
attorney,
California.
I first got exposed to the reparation issue in 1971.
Okay.
Okay, and I've been studying it since then for 50 years or whatever.
Okay.
And eventually, the people are waking up, and the issue of reparations is on the table thanks to, I think, the Lord's will.
Yes.
Because the Lord does not work on our time frame, works on eternity. So the issue would not go away. The wrong was done. And in the case of the brothers that were veterans, the wrong was done to them by the United States government. And that's the same thing that we're talking about with reparations.
Okay.
The issue of slavery was done by the United States government. So we're not talking about taking anything from individuals. We're talking about taking it from the United States government, which is the agency of the individual citizens, and they did the wrong, and therefore they need to pay.
Okay.
Just like you pointed out, many of the brothers and sisters in the military long since gave up on the veterans because they say, "Oh man, I'm not going to reapply." Well, like he told them, reapply. It's a new day. Well, they say, "Well, how do we know it's a new day?" He said, "Because you can get all the information you need by going to Billy Jones Show or any other outlet that is putting out this new information."
Well, we're the only one that's really doing this right now because, like I said, we got the man who's talking to the inside man who's saying, get this information out. And because, again, that's the problem. They have the information, have had the information all of the particular times, and all these other medias, TVs and radios, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But it's not that hot button. It's not that sexy type of news that people want to put in their media format. So we don't get that information. That's what's different. We are bringing it to everybody.
And in 1971, when I was talking about the reparations issue, did nobody want to hear it?
Yes.
They didn't believe it, or all that, all the arguments. They didn't even want to debate it.
Well, the great thing,
the big enchilada, California, and H.R. 40 and the federal government has now brought the issue up to the top. It's bubbling, but it's not widespread. So that's why every time I come on one of these programs, I want to talk about reparations because the damage was done by the government, and the government owes us and our descendants. And that was the beautiful thing that he pointed out. Even the great-great-grandchildren will be able to go after that tax-free money.
Would you say that again? Because I don't know if people understood that it's not just the fact that you can get your benefits, but who else can get your benefits?
All of your descendants. If they could show that they are descendants from slaves, they're entitled to the benefits that was denied by the government. So every one of your grandchildren are descendants of you. And if you are a descendant of a slave, then they are a descendant of a slave. So descendancy or lineage is the operative legal concept. And that's what's happening in the case of the veterans who went and served their country at 17, 18 years old. And then when they came back with all kinds of injuries, nobody wanted to listen to them. Nobody thought that you could say you were injured because you were over in Vietnam. But when you start digging into the files and find out there's a whole lot of people like those officers I was talking about that were benefiting, and all they did was touch down in the war zone by the planes coming down and landing and going back to the Philippines. Well, the problem with reparations is there's a wealth gap in America between black and white.
Okay.
And what we're trying to show through the files and through the information and data that we're gathering, that the wealth gap was created by the fact that our grandfathers were slaves and therefore they couldn't vote. And so their grandchildren couldn't vote because the states started passing laws that says you could vote if your grandfather voted. That was called the grandfather clause.
Okay.
Well, if my grandfather was a slave, then I can't vote. And all my grandchildren can't vote because I'm their grandfather and I couldn't vote. So it took the Supreme Court to finally throw out the grandfather clause with the poll tax and any other ways they were trying to prevent us from voting, as they are doing today.
So what is the result of, this is a committee that has been organized, formed at this point?
A committee where?
A reparation committee.
Oh, yeah. Well, again, H.R. 40, introduced by Congressman John Conyers. You guys should know something about him.
That's our wonderful, rest in peace, Mr. John Conyers, Congressman John Conyers, the legend.
And starting in 1989, there was a guy there in Detroit that was one of his constituents. They call him Reparations Ray.
That's right. And wait.
Ray told his congressman, you need to put this reparation thing in the Congress. So he ran that flag up the flagpole in 1989.
Yes.
And nobody saluted, except a few members of the Congressional Black Caucus, which I think was about 13 members then. There's 60 members or more of Black Caucus members in the Congress today. So they're all saluting H.R. 40, but they can't get it on the floor to vote because the Republicans control the floor.
You mentioned something real quick, and don't lose your thought, but you mentioned something very quickly, and I want folks to understand this. The connection between WHPR TV and Soul Beat Television way back has been connected way back. When I was doing television at Soul Beat Television on a program called The Morning Beat. You remember The Morning Beat program, Mr.
Yes,
Leo?
sir.
On that program, there was a man that used to call from Detroit. His name, Reparation Ray. So I want folks to know that we had been talked and taught about reparations through Soul Beat Television, through Reparation Ray, years and years and years ago through that little station called Soul Beat Television. Go ahead, Mr. Leo Brazil.
And all we had was that one little thread. But that thread has now expanded all over the country because we have so many other mediums now to get these issues out.
Yes, sir.
And that's why it's so important for what you're talking about right now, just like that veterans thing you put out there. That's going to go all over the world. I'm going to be talking about that in my newspaper articles that I'm writing on reparations.
Yes, sir.
Because it is a classic example of the government repairing the damage that they caused.
Yes, yes. And again, we want to make sure we have a voice for our people to be informed, because we're not we do things on this station. We talked about, we won't go into that. We'll just say this. Before we go off today, can we transition to something about the police commission?
Well, that's another issue that needs to be repaired because it emanates from the fact that the slave catchers transformed into the urban and rural police. The slave catchers was the first people that would grab any black person they saw running around. And if they didn't have a note from their masters, they would beat them and do whatever. Well, when they finally got rid of slaves, then the slave catchers became the sheriffs.
Oh,
and they've been catching slaves ever since and treating us like slaves ever since.
Okay. And, and not to deviate, but was that the feeling that we had in Oakland, California prior to the Panthers coming to power?
That was the feeling that our parents who left the South and came to the West and to the East and Detroit to get jobs and to breathe some air, they've taught us about Emmett Till and all of the things that they had to go through and they didn't want us to go through as a generation. Mm-hmm. So we were quite aware that we were being denied our rights, which is why we flocked in the SNCC and the SCLC and followed Martin Luther King and Malcolm X and all the rest of them.
Yes.
Well, now I live long enough to see my grandchildren now ready to fight this reparations fight.
Come on now.
Because back in 1971, Grandpa Leo was talking about what the government had done to us, and they needed to repair the damage. Come on
now. That's what I'm talking about. See, that's generational wealth because that was education. And again, they got the grandpa. They don't have to go to the book. They don't have to go to the movie. They got the grandpa who is like they used to way back in the day. Everything was spoken through the spoken word, passed on the history. The information is passed on through the spoken word of our folk. So you're
and all we had was Jet Magazine and Ebony.
Yes.
But now we got, what's your station?
WHPR TV 33.
We got, and you on what? Ruco and all that other codes?
Yes.
So it's going all over the world.
Yes, sir.
And that's why when George Floyd got his neck stepped on, he was the Emmett Till of our time. But the whole world got a chance to see it, and they reacted. The moral people reacted all over the world.
So the information that is passed in terms of the formation of the police commission and the police personnel, is that important in our history?
Yes.
How so?
Because Oakland and California is the big enchilada.
Okay.
And we're the spear point on this police commission stuff. Detroit has, Michigan or whatever, has their own police commissions, but they don't have the power that Oakland has because Oakland is a charter city and the voters can vote for whatever they want. And they voted a police commission, but it's been dysfunctional because the individuals that was on that commission was more concerned about using that commission as a stepping stone to other elective offices.
Hold on, Mr. Leo Brazil. You got
the idea of making that commission work.
Mr. Leo Brazil.
Colleague of mine, Wilson Rouse Jr.,
yes,
has now been appointed to that commission, and he is 70-some years old like me, so he's not talking about running for anything. He just wants to serve out of love for his city, and that's the kind of people we need on the commission, not people that's using those commissions as a stepping stone to be a councilman or a state legislator or a congressman.
But Mr. Leo Brazil, hold on. You're throwing out a name, and I want to get some recognition because that name, Wilson Rouse Jr., during my time of coming up, was a powerhouse. Can you tell us a little bit about who he was, what he served, what type of...
Wilson Rouse Sr. was the first black elected official statewide in California.
Okay.
He was the superintendent of public instruction.
Okay.
And his son, Wilson Rouse Jr., is a Stanford graduate like I am.
Talk to him.
Wilson and I served on the Oakland City Council and tried to be progressive voices for the old Republican downtown establishment that was on the way out the door.
Okay.
And they went out the door when the Panthers came in and Bobby Steele ran for mayor and opened up the door for Lionel Wilson to bring black power into the city of Oakland, like Coleman Young and other black mayors of their time were doing all over the country.
Didn't they run a young lady for mayor as well at one point?
Who's that?
The Panthers.
Yeah, no, not for mayor. They ran Elaine Brown for city council along with Bobby Seale.
There we go. Okay. So we're talking about people who are progressive, people who are going to get on that commission and take care of the business, not trying to get it as a stepping stone to get on the commission and look at to serve or be elected to another office. Is that what we're talking about again?
Yes, sir.
That means that you guys are serious about the business.
Well, we're old men, so we got no choice. You know, if we go on to serve, then we are there to serve and not to move up the ladder. Because if you're trying to move up the ladder, then you don't want to make any enemies, so you become indecisive. You see,
Yes.
And what these issues need is decisions. Because this is life and death. The police are killing our people in record numbers all over the country,
Talk to them.
male and female.
So, essentially, we talk about, well, the young folks have to do this, we got to do this, and got to put them on this. However, the distinction that I believe you just gave us, on some of these commissions, we need to have the older folks who are not looking to make it become that star that gets the next step, that gets put in a position to be elected because the people are all behind their youth and what they're doing, what they bring, etc. But they're looking to move up.
Yeah.
You're speaking of the older folks who've done that, been there, and they're saying, you know what, we're ready to kick butt.
Yeah.
We don't have nothing to do but take care of the seriousness of this business, and we're not looking for no side deals. We're not looking for no, if you do this, we're going to get behind you and help you get this campaign to make this work.
Absolutely.
Okay.
In other words, politics. Take the politics out of it and bring morality into it.
Okay. So it's not a diss to any young folk. It's just that we're saying at that point in time, folks who are settled, who are solid, they've done it. They're not looking at the stars no more. They're saying, this is what we're doing for our people, for my kids and my grandkids. We want to make it right.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Mr. Leo Brazil, as you look out, have you heard other cities or states that are implementing reparations or putting commissions together or have received any results?
Yeah, California and New Jersey are the two states. New York is now kicking up. But Alameda County is the most important place here in California right now because we're waiting for the legislature to start moving. Mm-hmm. And the last thing I want to say is look out in the world, and you saw those black male mayors. Look at all of the black women and keep up with the justices on the Supreme Court, the justice in Washington, D.C., and that black woman down in Atlanta, Georgia, because you get ready to learn about the government, state, federal, and local, all coming together, and the black women are sitting in the catbird seat in New York and Atlanta and every place else. Watch them.
So are you saying that the black women are getting very, very powerful?
They are powerful, but they're getting ready to exercise the power because the people can now see that they are the highest power in the land. Citizen is the highest office in the land. Mm. And the other black woman to watch is Kamala Harris that they are trying to use, talking that Joe Biden old age stuff. I'm 80 years old, and I'm very clear and coherent on your program.
Yes,
so
sir.
Why can't I be the president of the United States? The only thing that will slow me down is my physical health, not my mental agility.
So if they're saying that we can't knock, and this is what I was listening the other day, I was listening to the news, and they're saying, well, despite the opposition, he's accomplished this, he's accomplished that, he's done this, he's put that in place, despite all these other things going on. That's working.
They don't care about that. They care about that person behind him. That's why they're attacking her. They're attacking him because they say if he dies, she becomes the president. Mm-hmm. And they don't want to go with her competence because even white liberals cannot acknowledge the brain power of our people.
Okay.
If they didn't acknowledge Hillary Clinton, they're not going to acknowledge a black woman as being smarter than them, believe me.
And we did learn one thing about Ms. Harris as in her position in California. She's not one to play with.
Nobody in California rises up through the ranks of our politics with being a dummy. 40 million people in this state. And 1/3 of us, like the nation, may be some damn fools. Mm-hmm. But the other 2/3 of us are going to smash that crazy 1/3, and we're going to see if that's going to happen nationally now that Trump has been exposed.
Uh-oh. Gotta go.
All right.
Wait, you see, you starting to break down the numbers, and my time clock says, got to get ready to go, but I want to do this. Mr. Leo Brazil, as I put out that we're going to bring the Jones Asides back, and we're getting excitement through the internet, through the all the different contact procedures, and so in about 4 to 6 weeks, we're going to do our Jones Asides by Zoom, and I'm excited, I'm hurting, I'm in pain. I didn't know that things would hurt me like I'm hurting, but got to do what I got to do to get ready to Jones Asides for the people.
God bless you.
Thank you, brother. Have a great one, and hope to see you back maybe next week, okay?
All right, brother.
Always appreciate you and got mad love, my brother. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Peace now. Family, this is the Talk Beat Jones. Remember, every Wednesday from 10 to 11 o'clock a.m., we're here every Wednesday. And also, Sunday, 15.2, we are on the air from 4 to 5 on a Sunday. And you can go to YouTube, TV33 on demand, and you can pick up the programs of Talk Beat Jones and just look at the picture and the date. And you can watch that program again. I have about 260 to 80 shows, but you go by the latest dates, you see the latest show. We appreciate you. We love you. And to my father, we're getting ready, Dad. We're getting ready. We're going to do what you told me before that I didn't do. I'm going to do it this time. Love y'all. Share it, like it, talk to somebody about it. Have a good one. Bye now.
You wouldn't have to go anywhere because this is the Talk Beat Jones.
Thank you.